had not and he would not have to write a poem in his memory. Bitter constants and sad occasion, dear, compels me to disturb your season due. For Lycidas is dead, dead before his prime, young Lycidas, and hath not left his peer who would not sing for, and hath not left his peer who would not sing for Lycidas. He knew himself to sing and build the lofty rhyme. He must not float upon his weary bier unwept, and not float upon his weary bier unwept and welter to the parching wind. Here he says that Lycidas, who was young, he died in the prime of his youth. Um, he he died in the prime of his youth, and all of people who knew Lycidas would like to admire him and sing about him. He knew himself to sing and build the lofty rhyme. He must not float upon his watery bier unwept. Lycidas himself was a here Lycidas is Edward King. Milton has given uh, the name of Lycidas to his dead friend um, Edward King. Because this poem is a pastoral elegy, he imagines that the poet is a shepherd and his fellow, and the person whom he is mourning was also a shepherd. Uh, here he gives Lycidas, the name Lycidas, to his friend Edward King, and he assumes him to be a shepherd. He says that Lycidas himself was a poet, and he should not be left without being sung after his death. He must not float upon his watery bier unwept. He wants to say that he should not be left unwept in on his watery grave, where he died because he drowned in west in Irish seas. In Irish seas, he drowned in Irish seas. His body could not be found. So the poet says that he should not uh, float on watery grave unwept. Means there should be written a poem in his memory, welter to the parching wind, and he should not be left unwept, uh, floating on the watery grave and weltering in the parching wind. Without the need of some melodious tear, begin then, uh, without the need of some melodious tear. He says that some melodious tears should be said in his memory. Begin then, sisters of the sacred well, that from beneath the seat of Jove doth spring. Begin, and somewhat loudly sweep the string, hence with Daniel vain and coy excuse. So may some gentle muse with lucky words favor my destined urn, and as he passes turn and bid fair peace to be my sable shroud. For we were nursed upon the self same hill, fed the same flock by fountain, sad and rill. The poet, in these lines, the poet addresses to the muse. Uh, Here he says, sisters of the sacred well. Here, sisters of the sacred well means the daughters of Jove. He says he addresses to the muse, the daughter of Jove, to begin the poetry. That from beneath the seat of Jove doth spring begin somewhat loudly sweep the string, hands with Daniel Wayne and coy excuse, so may some gentle muse with lucky words favor my destined urn. And as he passes turn, bid fair peace be to my sable shroud. He addresses the muse, who is the daughter of Joe. He says to him that let they begin um, a poetry or song in memory of his friend Lycidas, and they should produce this music loudly so that other people also may inspire to write some poetry in memory of Milton when he dies. And for we were nursed upon the self same hill, feed the same flock by fountain sad and rill. Together both before the high lawns appeared, under the opening eyelids of the morn, we drove a field and both together heard. What time the grey fly winds her sultry horn, but battening our flocks with the fresh dews of night. Here the poet says that here he imagines himself and his friend Lycidas as shepherds. He says that both of them together flocked sheep in the fields in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. And they fed the sheep on fountains, uh, and they walked together near fountains in sand and rills. Uh, in the morning, they drove the sheep in the field, and in the afternoon they heard sultry horn of grey flies, and they they flocked their sheep in the fields till dewy dews of night begins to fall began to fall. Often lift the stars that rose at evening bright towards heaven's descent had sloped his westering wheel. Meanwhile the rural deities were not mute, tempered to throaten flute. They uh, they flock their ships in the fields till night, means till twilight, when the stars begin to appear in the sky, and towards heaven's descent had sloped his westerning wheel. They used to flock their uh, ships in the field till the western sun began to set in the till the sun began to set in the west, and it began to uh, throw sets long sets. Meanwhile the rural deities were not mute, tempered to throttle flute, and during this time uh, rural works uh, were going on, and uh, the noises created by during rural works were tempered by the flute which the villagers or shepherds used to play. Rough satyrs danced and fawns with cloven heed from the glade, and sound would not be absent long. And during this time, fairies began to dance in the fields. From the glade, sound would not be absent long, and old dames loved to hear our song. Here, Damitz, he makes reference to his college teacher, uh, who was his Cambridge tutor. John Milton and his friend Edward King both studied in Christ College, Cambridge, and here he wants to say that both of them uh, studied together uh, in that college, and they walked, they played, they walked together, they played together, and they enjoyed the college life together. And their tutor, whom he here refers as Demets, liked them, favored them, and uh, he appreciated their poetry, which they began to write in early days, in their college days. But oh, the heavy change! Now thou art gone, now thou art gone, and never must return. Here he says that uh, now a heavy change has come over him, because Lycidas has gone and he will not return ever. Thee Safford, thee the wood and the desert caves with wild thyme and the gadding vine overthrown, and all the year echoes mourn, the willows and the hazel copses green shall now no more be seen, fanning their joyous leaves to thy soft lace. Here the poet says that at the death of Lycidas, all the nature is mourning. It is appearing sad. Uh, the the woods, the it appears as if the safford thee the woods and desert caves with wild thyme and the gadding vine overgrown, and all their echoes mourn. All of nature is mourning the death of Lycidas, such as sapphires, caves which have wild thyme and uh, vine overgrown on them, and the echoes mourn, and the echoes which we find in caves all are making feeling sad on the death of uh, Lycidas, or all of them are mourning Lycidas' death. The willows and the hazel copses green shall now no more be seen, framing their joyous leaves to thy soft lace. And now the hazel copses and will not fan their leaves joyously to the song played by Lycidas, as killing as the canker to the rose, or taint worm to the weanling hearts that graze, of frost to flowers that their grey wardrobe wear, then first the white thorn blows. Here the poet says that the death of Lycidas is as depressing for all of them, for all shepherds and all the nature. Uh, just just as a canker is dangerous to rose, just as a tent worm is harmful for herds, and frost is harmful for flowers, and uh, uh, the flowers which are multicolored flowers, frost is harmful for those multicolored flowers, and flowers when first white thorn blows in this um, in the spring season, when white thorn and other flowers bloom, at that time frost is dangerous for these flowers. In the same way, um, the the death of Lycidas is depressing and heartrending for nature as well as shepherds. Such Lycidas, thy loss to shepherds' ear, where were ye nymphs, when the remorseless deep closed over the head of your loved Lycidas. Here the poet is addressing to the nymphs uh, who were and asked them where were they when this remorseless, when this cruel deed happened, when this uh, cruel sea drowned Lycidas in its water. For neither were ye playing on the steep, where your old bards, the famous druid lie, nor on the saggy top of Mona high, nor yet where Deva spreads her wizard stream. Yeah, me, I fondly dream. The poet says that the nymphs, the guardian nymphs um, of Lycidas were not present on the steep hills, on the druids, and not on the uh, top of Mona, which is an island in uh, Mona High. Mona is the top of top of a island whose name is Enzilio. So this not yet, nor yet where Deva spreads her wizard stream, and this muse was not present even near the river Dee. Um yeah, yeah, me, I fondly dream, had ye been there, for what could that have done? What could the muse herself that Orpheus bore? The muse herself for her enchanting son, whom universal nature did lament. What could the muse herself that Orpheus bore? The muse herself for her enchanting son. For what could that have done? What could the muse herself that Orpheus bore? The muse herself for her enchanting son, whom universal nature did lament, when by the rout that made the hideous rover his gory visage down the stream was sent down the swift Hebrus to the lesbian shore. The poet says that even if these nymphs were present, they would not be able to save Lycidas, just as the the muse who was the mother of Orpheus uh, could not be able to save her son, um, whom the the whole world lamented on his death. uh, and his her son Orpheus was killed by a wild group of women who were drunk, um, and they killed Orpheus in a drunken brawl, and Orpheus Orpheus was covered. Orpheus' face was covered in blood. Down the swift Hebrus to the lesbian shore. And he was uh, alas, what Alas, what boots it with incessant care to tend the homely slighted Safford trade, and strictly meditate the thankless muse, were it not better done as others use, to sport with Amaryllis in the sad, or with the tangles of Neera's hair. Fame is the spur that the clear spirit doth raise, that last infirmity of noble mind, to scorn delight and live laborious days, but the fair guerdon when we hope to find and think to burst out into sudden blaze, comes the blind fury with the abhorred seers and slits the thin spun life, but not the praise. Phoebus replied and touched my trembling ears. Fame is no plant that grows on mortal soil, nor in the glistening foil set off to the world, nor in broad rumor lies, but lives and spreads aloft by those pure eyes and perfect witness of all judging love, as he pronounces lastly on each deed. In these lines, the poet speaks about uh, praise. He says that human beings struggle all of their lives to find praise, and means they struggle all of their life to find fame in their lives, and but they wouldn't they they don't find fame uh, till their last breath. Phoebus says that fame is not a plant that grows on mortal soil, nor in the glistening foil. He says that it is not possible to find fame in on the earth. Fame can be found only on in heaven, and the fame is given uh, by all judging Job, who judges the deeds of man when he dies. He judges his deeds uh, indifferently, and whoever is